For number 5, we'll first graph the functions and see that f of x is equal to x over the square root of x squared plus 1 is higher than g of x, which is x minus 1. Limits of integration being x equals 0 to x equals 1. Area is equal to the integral of the top function minus the integral of the bottom function. We have the area equaling the integral from 0 to 1 of x over the square root of x squared plus 1 dx minus the second integral from 0 to 1 of x minus 1 dx. These two integrals are significantly different, so we're going to separate them and do one at a time. The harder one being the first one. No rule for this, so we have u is equal to x squared plus 1. Du is equal to 2x dx. And that we need that too, so we better put it inside that integral, but that changes it unless we put a half on the outside. So we end up getting an area equaling 1/2, the integral of 2x over x squared plus 1 to the half, changing that square root into a half power. And then we have to change this into a u problem. So 2x dx turns into du. Taking x squared plus 1, we turn it into u. We have u to the half on the bottom. If we bring it up to the top by algebraic means, we'll have u to the negative 1/2. So at this point, we have 1/2 integral of u to the negative 1/2 to u. We use the power rule, add 1 to a negative half, we get positive 1/2. Divide by the same 1/2, we have 1/2 u to the half over a half. Cross out those halves, and at this point, we have u to the half. Finish up that first integral. We replace u with x squared plus 1, change that half back into a square root. So u to the half is equal to the square root of x squared plus 1. Evaluated from 0 to 1, plugging in the 1 and the 0. For the first integral, we get the square root of 2 minus the square root of 1. For the second integral, be careful with that negative. So we have minus the integral from 0 to 1 of x minus 1 dx. If we distribute that, we'll get negative x plus 1. And when we integrate, we get negative x squared over 2 plus x, evaluated from 0 to 1. That piece becomes negative a half plus 1. We combine everything together, and we get the square root of 2 minus 1/2.